Hello.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What it do, bro?
Not much, man. I'm happy to be back with another episode, man. Episode 9.
Man, we here, man. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hope y'all went to church this morning. Saw a lot of stories, people outside this weekend. I just really hope everybody was at church this morning, online, in person, whatever it may be. Hope you got a word in, man. We here. Hopefully we able to start y'all week off, on a good note. Well, we'd like to start our week off on a good note, but with y'all boy in office, it's another week. We're still cooked. You know what I'm saying? Still a whole lot going on, bro. It's kind of hard to not see. On any platform, you can go, you can turn the news on, you can go on Twitter, go on New York Times. All you're gonna see is headlines. It's either gonna be war, TSA lines, or just something getting cooked, bro. But we still gonna find a way to try to uplift, try to still navigate, see still kind of see what we can do in during this very
Trying time.
trying time. Very, very whole lot going on.
And I mean, hey, you gotta be informed too about what's going on. Like, I want everybody. I think what people need to know is what we're doing here is being objective for the most part. Like, just trying to provide the facts, some interpretations, some views, and it's not to say don't be positive, but you do need to know what's going on. If we came on here telling y'all it was all peaches and cream, we'd be setting you up for failure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even during this very tumultuous time, we still want to make sure our audience and anybody tapped in, one is aware of everything that's going on, and just kind of like how you can position yourself to as best you can, kind of protect yourself from said circumstances or policies. But yeah, so we can go ahead and jump right into it, man.
Yeah, welcome to Black Box Theory, hosted by Malcolm Doster Jr. and
Thanks.
Thomas Freeman. We usually leave out the last names, but we're not hard to find. But
Yeah.
you want to save those names. We're doing something big here. But before we really jump into kind of the overview of everything, I'm going to break the order a little bit, just do our disclaimer. So everything here is our own views. It does not represent employer or any affiliated organizations. And we're just learning out loud, spreading facts, spreading information. And it's up to you to make the appropriate decisions. We are not financial advisors. We are not career coaches. We're just people learning out loud, like I said, and you need to have faith to make the best decisions and consult qualified professionals before you do anything. But just to give an overview of kind of some things we're going to talk about today. So for those who may not know, we are in a war. We're actually day 23, and it just got worse. Iran fired ballistic missiles at Riyadh, which is Saudi Arabia's capital. 3 missiles, 10 drones. Saudi Arabia expelled diplomats within hours, which is something new. Iran also hit Dymana and Arad in Israel, directly targeting Israel's nuclear research center for the first time, wounding 100 plus people. Trump's 48-hour ultimatum to obliterate Iran's power plants expires tomorrow night at 7:44 p.m. Eastern time.
Obliterated OC. I'm not gonna lie. Like
that's a quote. That's
Yeah.
what he's obliterate.
y'all man's not playing around, dog. Like this is OC. This is crazy.
Hey, what's that song? That DMV Trump song? He's like, "Son, we ain't going for nothing. Missiles on missiles. You know how we coming." Whatever he said.
Where did you see that at?
It's bro. Look up the Trump DMV Trump song. It's called DT. It's people who know it, who've seen it. It's a lot of memes around it. It's like a DMV comedian / rapper made a song in the DMV flow, talking about Trump and Iran. This was like a few months ago he did this. But okay, back to it, right? That expires tomorrow. So that tomorrow, as in you're probably listening to that today or whenever you listen to it, that would be Monday, March 23rd at 7:44 p.m. Eastern time. So be on the lookout. Iran's response: if you hit our power plants, we will permanently close the Strait of Hormuz and it won't reopen until you rebuild what you destroyed. So they're saying you could do what you want, but we're going to screw over the world. So think carefully. Israel says strikes will increase significantly. That's a quote. This week, oil is at $112 a gallon. I mean, no, a barrel. I'm sorry, $112 a barrel. Gas is $3.93 nationally. The S&P has dropped for the 4th week straight. and Iraq shut down its fields. And you know what we're doing? We're recording a podcast because the world doesn't stop. You just have to stay informed.
Yeah, we're so fried. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of woo, yeah, no, it's crazy, man. And just to make this very clear, like for that whole, cause it is actually kind of astonishing, bro. Like I've actually seen a number of people, like kind of like across social media, be like, dang, like why is gas so high? Like genuinely, like and I was like, okay, let me not look at that as ignorance. Let me, what I'm saying, use this as an opportunity to try to educate, what I'm saying, spread some awareness. But with that whole the Strait of Hormuz, that's like basically all oil, just like millions of barrels of oil has to get through there. There is no, what I'm saying, there's no alternative route. It either gets through there to get to us, to China, to European countries. Like without that, it doesn't get to us, right? If they permanently close that, what that means is what gas is in most places is around close to $4 nationally. In some places higher. I've seen in California, I've seen some insane prices like $7, $8 a gallon. Crazy. But if that bad boy permanently closes, what that means is these prices aren't dropping anytime soon. And I've been doing it myself. I've been trying to, what I'm saying, as often as I can, literally only refuel at either at a wholesale club, at a Costco's, at a BJ's, at a Sam's Club. I went today, man. That gas is near the price of what you see at a normal Shell, at an Exxon, at a Royal Farms or Wawa. I'm like, bro, it's getting close to the point where it's not even no difference in the price. You're not even getting a deal anymore. I'm like, bro, if that permanently closes, these guys, you're going to need to set. I don't know if people are already doing this, but you're for sure going to need to set aside a portion, depending on how much you drive. You're going to need to set aside a portion just for gas, bro, every month. Obviously, people have their gas budgets, but I don't think it's ever been as prominent as now, where it's like you need to have a strict, actual set aside amount of money for gas. I'm talking about half a gallon. I mean, not half a gallon, half a tank fill up is talking about $25, $30, bro. Like, is that crazy?
Look up 1973. For all the people, 1973 is what we don't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, I mentioned it a little bit last week, but just compare it to that. Like Malcolm said, that gas budget, that's real. I don't know if anybody else saw a video. It was some video I saw on IG. A guy was saying, he said, man, check on your people. Some dude put 11 cents of gas in his tank, bro.
No, see, I think I seen a TikTok of that joint. It was like it's a difference between broke. There was like it's levels to being broke, but that was like poverty, bro. Like that's poverty, bro. You put to the gas tank, you put 11, you putting under $1 into your tank, bro. Where's that? I don't think that gets you a mile. Like, it
you can get out the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm about to say, get you from the parking lot to the next parking lot. But like, bro, like, nah, it's crazy.
We live in hard times, man. All my people out there, stay strong, stay blessed, stay prayed up, and stop buying for comfort, bro. I know that it's hard, especially for the young folk. I know it's hard. You want to buy things to make yourself feel better, like retail therapy. Mm-hmm. You've got to hold on strong, man. You got to hold tight. We're gonna talk about it, but S&P 500, I just checked. I think it's down 5% this year, like year to date. You know what I mean? Like you guys. This is a good time to make a lot of money. It's probably going to keep going down. I'm not a financial guru, but stay strong. We'll get through this. It's just a matter of when.
Oh yeah, no questions. Like before this episode, I was actually going through some of my, a bit of my portfolio with Thomas. Right now is a very daunting time, and I think that these are one of those times that these are one of those periods of time, kind of similar to 2020 and 2022, where that kind of gap in the wealth transfer is directly kind of related to who holds and who panic sells. It's very easy, understandably, when you're watching your investments, when you're watching, even when you think you have a safe pick in an index fund and an ETF and a mutual fund, whatever, and you're still seeing red every day. I understand. Nobody likes to sit and watch themselves lose money day by day. I completely understand it. We have to, and I've said this in a previous episode before, we're not holding for today and tomorrow. We're not day traders. We're not swing traders. Well, some people are, but we aren't. Like I said, we're going for generational wealth. We're trying to build something here. We can't panic sell. As tough as it sounds, I understand. It's a lot. Everyone wants to just kind of like hold on to their money, but the same way we're losing money on our investments, that cash isn't going to be of much use either in the same period of time. Like if you genuinely think that, your investment in the S&P 500 it is down this year, cool. But I mean, we've seen this time and time again. You can look over the last 50 years of the S&P 500, even with a red year, there's almost a guaranteed rebound in the market the next year following, right? So it's like, this is not the end all be all. There's a ton of turmoil in the world right now. And understandably, like that's going to affect the market. But we can't let, day-to-day news headlines and economic policies affect our kind of discernment and our discipline as investors, right? Like we're not like we should our I guess your investment strategy should not be so easily swayed by headlines and by a couple red points because like Thomas said, it's down what 5%. Could be a whole lot worse. Like if we being real, it returns what 19, 20, 21, 22% every year. We're looking at a 5% down in the first 4 months or 3 months, almost 4 months of the year. We're going to be okay. Like this may very well be a red year, but like I said, we're holding for the long term. We are investors. We're not. Our strategy should not be so easily influenced by these different headlines and seeing a little bit of red. I'm saying my portfolio is bleeding right now. Best believe. I would love to get rid of everything, but I know at the end of the day, my purchasing power with the same amount of money, if I were to take everything out of my portfolio now and I just held on to it tight for the next 5 years, I know that the money I have now, for one, the US dollar is constantly losing value. So my purchasing power in 10 years, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I can assure you it'll be less than whatever it is today. Two, we've seen like history, like you can look at the history. History repeats itself, man. The S&P goes down, next year is going to rebound. We will be back in the green sooner or later. It's not fun now. Stuff is bleeding right now, but this is when you deploy capital. This is when you buy low, right? Don't wait for everything to make a bull run and then you want to get yourself back in because that's how you miss out on building wealth. Now's the time to buy things and don't keep trying to wait for the perfect price or perfect drop point. Like, because at the end of the day, if your strategy is to hold long term, the perfect price, obviously be smart about it. Don't buy it at the all-time high. But if you're holding for the long term, man, I mean, now is the time to deploy capital. As uncomfortable as it feels, we'll be back. We're thinking 10 years out. We're going to be okay, man.
Exactly. We'll be fine. Keep up with inflation. That's the only way for your money to grow. Money you hold is money you lose. And, kind of pivoting back to the stuff with the Middle East, China's still getting their oil. Certain places are still getting their oil. So relationships, timing, all of it matters. You can't be emotional. But in relation to all of this, things that will impact the stock market, just want to give you the black box truth, right? Things that people are not connecting that are happening simultaneously in the Middle East with this situation. So one, the war just expanded beyond Iran. Like I said, the missiles are hitting Saudi Arabia's capital. Is a completely different situation than missiles hitting military targets in Iran. Saudi Arabia wasn't a combatant. Now they're expelling Iranian diplomats. If Saudi oil infrastructure gets hit next, you're looking at a global energy crisis that makes the current one look mild. Saudi Arabia produces 9 million barrels a day. Think about that. If something happens there, that's another 9 million barrels potentially off the market, which means that new Porsche you got, or that, let's see, for my people who just got their first car, that 2018 Camry you just picked up, forget about it. You're not going to be able to put gas in it. Two, Trump gave that 48-hour ultimatum. Iran literally cannot comply even if they wanted to. The Strait is mined. There's active military engagement on both sides, and you can't just open a waterway mid-war. Iran's response tells you everything. If you hit our power plants, we'll permanently close Hormuz. This is not a negotiation. That's a promise of mutual destruction. For people who've read The Art of War, 33 Strategies of War, if you're going to lose, mutual destruction. You want to go out with a bang. You don't go out by yourself. Facts. Number three, the third point in all this, or this specific topic, Iraq's force, Major, I hope I'm saying that correctly for all my Iraqis out there. Please correct me in the comments. They removed 2.4 million barrels a day from global supply. The government lifted Iran's oil sanctions mid-war to tame gas prices. Then Iraq shut down too. They're out of easy moves. The people in charge are improvising, and your paycheck is absorbing the consequences. So even though Costco said that they're going to, I believe they said with the tariffs, they're going to implement automatically kind of like put those discounts back so that when they get the tariff refund, because that was illegal, they're going to pass that on to customers to help, kind of show support back to us. Costco's been one of the best businesses in the world in all of this, and as far as how they treat their customers. They can only taper the cost so much when it comes to gas, man.
Yeah.
They're not God. That's just food for thought.
Yeah, no cap, man. And like I said, like I think what this kind of all does is just one, just kind of like just to reiterate the importance of being acutely aware of what's going on in the world. I'm not saying you have to be a news or history buff, but at a bare minimum, like at a foundational level, I think that you should have a understanding of why gas is this high, for one. Two, just kind of like being proactive and understanding like what type of adjustments can I make as an investor, as someone who has a steady income with whatever money I have left. What type of proactive steps can I take to, one, protect myself against inflation, to best budget for from rising costs with gas, most notably, but also everything is rising, right? You got groceries going up, cost of insurance and premiums going up. Everything's going up, man, right? So there's no question about that. So the question now is like, one, how do you adjust your personal budget? What type of investment strategy changes do you make, if any at all? Also, another thing to think about is kind of as these gas numbers continue to go up, how does that affect my allocation towards my personal investments, right? How does that affect my portfolio allocation? Now that we have these high numbers and these other things to worry about, now we have to do some rebalancing and readjusting, because we can't keep putting towards the same money unless you magically or just want to stop driving for X amount of time until the war ends. We have to be proactive about this stuff. And so we also need to understand, like, okay, what do things look like if Trump actually does strike these power plants? If they talk about really shutting down the whole Strait of Hormuz, I mean, gas might. I don't even want to imagine what that price is going to be now. I know one thing: I'm not going to be driving as much as any opportunity. Anybody that asks me come out, yo, push up here, push out here. If it's saying more than 15 minutes, it's clips, my boy. I hate to break it to you, man. If you actually pull up somewhere, push up, you know what I'm saying, come hang out. More than 15 minutes, it's quiet. I ain't gonna lie to you. Until these bad boys get down, back to a reasonable price of gas, talking about $4 a gallon. Best believe my car will not be touching no type of asphalt. So yeah. It's a couple things. Yeah, I don't know, man. We I don't want to be a doomer and make everybody feel like this is the end of the world. There's no way out. We're cooked. We're absolutely, like our portfolios are cooked. Everything is cooked. It's not the end of the world. We're going to get through this. I think, completely side note from our whole, I really hope, I really, really hope that if you haven't already had enough reason to by now, you are taking this as whatever. If you needed any more motivation to go vote during these midterms,
Please.
to go make some type of change in your community, to actually, I hope people understand now that voting does matter. This is not I cannot stand the ignorance when people say, bruh, it's just my one vote wasn't going to change nothing, bruh. I hope people understand that type of thinking spreads and it bleeds across our community and our population. It's not about your one specific vote. It's about the way that you think, and it's about how it spreads to other people. And when that accumulates and spreads across several people, it becomes entire communities. It becomes entire neighborhoods. It becomes entire areas and cities that don't vote because everyone thinks that their one vote doesn't matter. What you're not accounting for is everyone else that thinks that their one vote doesn't matter. Your one vote does matter. It can be the literally the tide changing kind of pivotal moment that we need to get new leadership in the House, right? Like these are like these. If you like war, if you like paying $4 a gallon, $8 a gallon in some places, if you enjoy rising costs of everything, if you enjoy seeing federal programs get cut, and enjoy seeing HBCUs and minority serving institutions get their federal programs and scholarships and funding get cut, if you enjoy seeing healthcare, so important research for vaccinations for children get cut, if you just enjoy seeing these policies and this message isn't for you, but if you're someone with any type of moral compass, some type of human decency, and just a fundamental, if you're just not an ignorant person, I hope this is a reason for you to go out and vote, bro. Like I said, I'm not a poli-sci guy, but I have enough common sense to see this is not right. This is not how the people that lead our country are supposed to be handling themselves and leading. We're in a war for no reason, and we're doing Israel's bidding.
Thanks.
Yo, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm not going to be the guy that says, oh, Kamala would have been perfect. She wouldn't have messed. I'm sure she would have made her own mistakes, but I know for a fact under her leadership, we would not be in wars for no reason. We just wouldn't be in half of the mess that we're in now. And sure, it's a hypothetical, But this is literally the worst of the worst. And we're not going to make this into a political, into a Joe Rogan. We're not doing that. But like we got to get this across at some point. I hope people that are listening to this really resonate with what I'm saying, because I'm not saying this for clicks or for like, dude, please go vote. I'm
Yeah.
begging you. Like, I'm genuinely begging you, bro.
Get out and vote, especially, our minority people. As we saw, that swung the election last time, unfortunately in the wrong direction. But hey, we got to get out there. We got to go vote. I've met too many black people that say, "Oh, it don't matter, don't vote." Bro, if you don't have trust in the system, bro, go move to Cuba, bro. Like the place that's probably the most anti-system place that you can go to. Uh,
Yeah. And
America, vote, bro.
and another piece, like, it's also like you also have to understand, like, I'm not saying still go vote, but you also do have to understand where you live. If you know you're in a swing state, you know that your vote matters more. Now, if you know, like, me, I live in Maryland, I know we're going to be blue every year. If you live in Massachusetts, you know you're going to be blue. If you live in California, you know you're going to be blue. If you're in a state like Pennsylvania, like a Georgia, like, states that can, North Carolina, that can really swing either way, you really need to take this seriously, because I'm not talking about the states that are all blue 100% of the time. I'm talking about the states that can swing either way, depending on what community is more closely aligned with whatever policies the person running is presenting, right? So let's just kind of keep that in the back of our mind and just understand that location does play a huge part.
They're cooking the books too.
Oh, for sure.
North
All
Carolina,
the
they just took away like 50,000 some registered Democratic voters. Like
yeah.
they didn't take them away, but they moved the stuff around. Even
They,
A&T.
they was like they take away they try to take away. I think they did actually this year. They take away the polling sites from places, like, they literally make it as hard as possible for underserved, minority kind of communities, they really just try to make it as hard as possible to vote. Like, they'll take away polling sites. They will make it hard. They'll do gerrymandering to carve up more seats for whoever they want to get in place. And what I'm really appreciative of now is that, the blue side, now it's like, before we've always just tried. And one thing that always kind of pissed me off, because it's like, we always try to be the good guys, and it's like we always try to do the right thing, the moral thing. But you have to understand, the people that we're dealing with, being nice doesn't work anymore. You have to fight fire with fire now. And so I'm glad to see that people like, Gavin Newsom are like trying to implement the same things you're trying to do in Texas out in California, right? Like, okay, y'all want to do this, instead of trying to be, hey, that's not right. Now we're like, nah, you know what? Now we going to double up what y'all doing and run it right back. And see, now when you hit them back, when you get smacked in the mouth with the same thing you're trying to do to somebody else, that's going to hurt a lot more. So I'm excited to see that. And like I said, man, hey, just do your due diligence, man. Do your civic duty, please. And yeah, let's actually make some change this upcoming cycle, man, because there's no way that you're satisfied with the state of our country now. We're supposed to be the most powerful military, the land of the free, the most economically, well-positioned country. Yo, it don't seem like it, brother.
Cook, bro. People in other countries, they look at us. I talk to people from other countries. They're like, yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing. We look like idiots to people across the world. We look like we're stupid. Please expand your horizons. Going to Texas is not the same as going to another country. Going to Mexico is not the same as going to Europe. I mean, that goes without saying. That's not even a political thing. It's just like, expand your horizons, bro. The world is bigger than North America. But yeah, no, that was tough. That was smooth. I like that. But go vote, like, seriously. But I guess another area where you should be informed, because this is also super heavily mixed into voting and where money comes from and all this sort of things. OpenAI's super app and the AI job paradox. So OpenAI is building an app that replaces your browser, your code editor, and possibly your job. While Meta is reportedly cutting 20% of its workforce to fund 135 billion in AI spending, the same technology is creating and destroying jobs simultaneously.
Nice. More AI slop headlines, man. Just what I wanted to hear, bro. And it's like, I'm sure the people that listen to this are like, bro, how many jobs?
Life.
Everything is AI. There is no, you're not going to go a day without hearing about AI anymore, unless every data center on the planet just vanishes. Those days are gone, brother. So you do need to understand, and this isn't even about, I hope you don't think that this is only a tech thing now. This is white collar work everywhere, and it's going to be blue collar work in some time as well too. It's not a we're not sitting here trying to discuss who's going to get displaced first. Hopefully, it's no one. And in an ideal world, we would be using AI to supplement workers instead of trying to use it as a lever to kind of cut costs and to cut people. Um, I think that, if people were really worried about productivity gains and efficiency gains, more money would be going towards, actually training people to how to leverage these tools and how to leverage these kind of like automated systems to, you know, handle more mundane tasks and allow the humans to focus on more kind of creatively demanding work, more, work that requires, more of a human touch and understanding instead of just using AI as, all right, bet you can go now, right? Like, and that's should tell you a lot about the state of tech executives now and kind of like what their priorities are. And you should also understand that like these corporations, they view you as now corporations just view you as more money they can put towards your compute capex spending. And that's a really unfortunate way to kind of think about it. And this is across tech everywhere. This isn't even just hyperscalers. This is across consulting. This is across healthcare. This is across federal government. This is everywhere, bro. This isn't just software engineers anymore. It's everyone, right? So, like I said, like we've kind of been reiterating this entire episode, it's one thing to be acutely aware of what's going on in the world, staying, abreast of news and what's kind of coming out. But it's also just as important to continuously improve and refine your skills. Now, this is through certifications, through watching different courses. Not like I say with everything else, you do not have to be an AI demigod, but you should understand how AI works. You should understand its capability. You should understand how tokenization works. You should try to get some type of certification so that you can demonstrate fundamental capabilities to understand AI and how it can actually be implemented into workflows, how it can be used to automate things. Like these, like I said, it sounds like a hassle, but when stuff like this comes out, you're a fool if you think you're just going to sit back, lean back in your chair, put your arms up. Yeah, bro. They're never going to lay me off. My brother, you're next, right? Like so that you're capable of learning these skills. I'm not saying that you have to use and understand how to actually implement it, because there's a difference between knowing what AI is, but how do you use it in your own workflows? How do you speed up and create more productivity gains for yourself and for your team? That's where it kind of matters, right? Like sitting back and just looking at AI, looking at the headlines, you just look like a sheep grazing grass before it's getting ready to get freaking sheared and slaughtered, bro. Like learn something, teach yourself a new skill, bro. Like these headlines, as crazy as they sound, all these different workforce reductions, these hundreds of billions of dollars going towards compute capacity and data center infrastructure. This should just be nothing but motivation, and it's like an alert in your head going off like, hey, I need to lock in. Like I need to get right with I need to get with the program. Like I need to learn this stuff. I need to teach myself a new skill. I need to understand which way the market is heading, because this is such a rapidly expanding sector in technology. By the time you learn one cert, it's going to be a whole nother certain pathway that you have to expand now. You're going to make your job a lot harder, and you're going to make your kind of learning path a lot harder if you continue to push it back and push it back and push it back. Because when you're starting at ground zero, when we're 4 years of the AI race, you're going to be so behind as compared to someone who's kind of been trying to, at least at best they can, trying to constantly keep up with the way it's expanding and the way these new technologies are coming out. Because the way that Claude Anthropic and OpenAI are just consistently shipping out new features and products. By the time Cowork comes out, there's a Codex, and there's going to be Codex V2, Codex V3, then there's going to be a new product out that you haven't even heard of that can do what the last two products can do 10 times better. Like I said, so it's like the more you wait, the harder it's going to be to catch up, bro. And that's just what it is.
Facts. And realistically, you got to get in the room. That's why we're here. You got to get in the room to understand and see things. A lot of these people in tech, especially the ones that are super heavily investing on AIs because someone's telling them to be investing on AI because it's starting from the top. And they try to say that they're keeping human-centered, human focus, blah, blah, blah. They might believe that they're doing that, but we all know how things are going. We all know that it's all data. We all know exactly where things are moving towards because they want to automate. So you can have your opinions, be informed, be aware. A lot of people say, oh, this is impossible. That's not possible. Yes, it is. It is on the way. It might be framed as something that helps you now. But if you're using Frontier in your code or your Excel, you're using all these Frontier things, why is your company going to continue paying you when you've worked with the AI agent to work on this Excel sheet? Think about the long-term impacts. But that's whatever, right? I'm just a crazy guy. I'm AI slot. My brain is a GPU. BBT. Two stories that are actually one story. On March 19th, OpenAI announced plans to merge ChatGPT, the Atlas web browser, and Codex into a single desktop super app. Codex gets autonomous agent features first. It'll write code, browse the web, analyze data on your computer without you. Number two, Meta is allegedly planning to lay off 20% of its workforce, about 16,000 people, allegedly. Like I said, to fund that $135 billion in AI spending. Crazy.
So
Then,
cooked.
very cooked. And then they also allegedly denied the reports, but that's still debated. But here's the thing. Meta stock rose 3% on the layoff rumor. So allegedly the Trump play. Wall Street literally rewarded the idea of firing companies, or no, I'm sorry, firing 16,000 people. Meanwhile, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman called the tech layoffs AI washing, quotations, saying companies are using AI as a cover for the pandemic over hiring cuts across the industry. Oh, across the industry, 56,000 workers have been laid off in 2026 so far. We're only in March, with AI cited in 12,000 plus U.S. job cuts, according to the Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. People are getting laid off because of AI, right? We're overly cooked. Kind of like with our inside perspective, the black box truth. It's a paradox, and nobody wants to say out loud because our building AI. Our companies building AI are also the ones firing people because of AI message, or at least saying they are. Sam Altman just called it AI washing, but companies are blaming AI for layoffs that are really about correcting pandemic era overhiring. That was a thing, a lot of hiring in the pandemic, and then AI came about, big shifts, and then the OpenAI CEO admitting that AI isn't actually replacing as many jobs as headlines suggest. It's just a convenient excuse. But Meta stock going up 3% on a layoff rumor should tell you that what Wall Street actually values: fewer humans, more machines, higher margins. So whether the layoffs are real AI replacement or AI washing, it doesn't matter to the 16,000 people who just lost their job, or the 16,000 who might lose their jobs, and the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that have lost their jobs before. And OpenAI building an autonomous coding agent while calling other companies' layoffs fake. That's a contradiction of the entire moment. If you're early career, this is actually your window. You're cheap and AI literate, but you need to understand the game. So that all ties together. If your early career is good, if you're a middle manager, you might be cooked. If you've been around super long time, you should be stacked and ready to go. Yeah, it's a scary world outside. It's a cold world.
Yeah, man. I find Sam Altman's comments particularly interesting, just because I actually read an article recently. OpenAI actually plans to almost double its headcount this year. And this is like primarily to fend off competition from Anthropic, their kind of biggest competitor in the startup space, but also from like companies like Google, Alphabet, Meta. But yeah, so they plan to almost double its headcount by the end of 2026. They said they want to increase the headcount to about 8,000 from about 4,500, which is their current, approximate headcount. And so the new hires that they plan to hire across OpenAI, they'll work largely across product development, engineering, research, and sales. And they've also taken a new office space in San Francisco, which is like the startup capital of the country, to accommodate its growing staff count. So they're taking their footprint in the city to more than 1 million square feet. So yeah, it's like I said, that's why I kind of find his comments interesting about the AI washing stuff, because I don't know, man. It's just going to be very, and that, like I said, like Thomas just said, and I also said earlier, like this is just kind of like why I reiterate the importance of staying on top of the game, staying as AI literate as possible, understanding what type of news and developments are coming out, and just like these are one of those periods of time, and it's crazy that our kind of generation and graduating class is coming out at, like I said, one of the craziest, most just kind of like I said, tumultuous times ever across housing, across new college barrier to entry for new hires. Our current president, and all the all these things going on at once. It just seems very unfair and kind of like just an unfortunate series of events for us to kind of come out at a time where it's like all this uncertainty in the world. But like I said, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna come save us and pick us up and protect us. So we have to do our job to, as best as we can, protect ourselves, from all that's going on in the world, and a lot of that takes a lot of just proactivity, and just being like committed to consistently improving or refining stuff. Because the days of making a resume and not touching it again until you get laid off are over, or get fired or move to a new role is over. Like, we are in a space now where you are constantly being scrutinized for your knowledge and understanding of AI, your kind of like contribution and impact are just being more closely monitored and scrutinized now, because everything now is a justification to not get rid of you, to spend more on compute, to spend more on infrastructure, right? So as an employee, as a contributor, as a manager, whatever your position is across a company at any of these hyperscalers or in anywhere, across tech or white collar work, you are constantly on the spot to prove yourself. So what that means, like I said before, now is the time to learn, to apply, and to like consistently show that you are more than capable and that you're not just a sheep, right? Like, you have to show like why you belong here and like how you can consistently adapt. The person that's going to, the new hire that shows that they can continuously learn and implement AI in the workflows and continuously get better and learn at it and adopt it, versus the, guy of 10, 15 years of experience who thinks that AI is a fluke. It'll kind of, go over in a few months or whatnot. They're going to take the cheaper guy that's more ambitious about the AI learning over the guy who has a ton of experience, but refuses to, accommodate to the one of our most rapidly, kind of like changing market shifts that we've ever seen, right? So, yeah, man, like I said, like Thomas said, man, you have to understand the game. You have to understand what's going on. And when you're in the space now, you have to be constantly improving, bro. It's unfortunate, but
Always.
you can only control what you can control, man. So try to control the things that you can and put your best foot forward, bro.
No, absolutely. And we also, like, for people out there with the AI stuff, man, like, you got to balance AI skills and also doing your job or like improving in other ways. Like, I know I'm hearing a lot, like some people are going too far on AI. Like they're literally forgetting their tasks. I'm hearing people saying like they're working over weekends now because AI. Like, you got to balance the stuff out. Like, I get it's changing constantly, but like Malcolm said, what you know about AI today is gonna be different tomorrow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this stuff changes faster than the human brain can even understand. We've seen technology grow so much in the past 26 years, and AI is changing at a rate that's crazy
It's
fast. I mean, that's why
unprecedented, bro.
it's unprecedented. Like bro, that's why they have all these NPUs, TPUs, and all these GPU, like special GPUs for this stuff, because it constantly has to be updated. That's why Nvidia can put out a new chip every single year, and it is super critical because things are changing so fast. The human brain took forever to get to this point, and all these changes in tech can happen much faster. So we need a little grace on the people. The money doesn't have grace.
Yeah. And like NVIDIA as a company, like they are literally they're literally a direct application of Moore's law. And Moore's law, for context, this was originally an observation, but it was coined by the co-founder of Intel, Gordon Moore, back in 1965. And this was that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles approximately every 2 years. So what this means is that this kind of leads to exponential computing power, and reduced cost. But it's not a physical law, but it's kind of acted as a general guide for the semiconductor industry for over 50 years. And while we're saying all these crazy advancements in AI and smartphones and supercomputing, it's pretty much remained true. And what, like, the key aspects of it: one, transistor density. So the core concept is packing literally more transistors into a smaller chip, every 2 years, increasing compute power. And then as density increases, computational speed increases while the cost per transistor decreases. And so this exponential growth has led to this chat GPT and LLM and NVIDIA boom that we've seen over the last 3 years. This consistent doubling has led to thousands times greater computing power over decades, right? So the cost kind of like, or trade-offs, right? So the pace of advancement is slowing down as transistors shrink to atomic scales. Like, I'm talking about, like, to the point where you cannot make these transistors any smaller. So it's going to get harder to maintain cost effectiveness. And they're reaching sizes where quantum mechanics, and heat dissipation create significant manufacturing challenges, right? So what we're saying now is, like, NVIDIA, as their constant innovation creating these new chips, that's in direct application of Moore's law. But what's not kind of being said is that the additional components that come along with it, there is no law that says that they double in performance or they double in advancement every 2 years. That's why we see this memory shortage going on now. There's a reason that it can't keep up with the cost or kind of like the same technological requirements as these chips, because memory does not advance as quickly. Back end or kind of like Ethernet connections, internet networking does not advance as quickly as chips do. Power, liquid cooling, energy, data center infrastructure does not advance as quickly as computational power and these kind of like more chips on these transistors, right? So we're getting to a point now of a bottleneck where it's just strictly compute power and everything else just lags behind. But between memory bandwidth, between interconnect networking speed, like all these things are just lagging behind. And it's going to get to a point where it's like you have to be aware of all the components of the AI kind of landscape and understand how they all tie together and understand like, okay, if the chips are going to keep going up, where else can I, plug and play as an investor to understand what else isn't doubling or kind of being advanced as fast, but it's still needed. It's still a requirement to make these computational advancements possible. So that's a bit of a deviation from our original statement, but that's just another thing to be aware of as an investor if you are still, bullish on the AI future of AI, which I think I am as well. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So that's just another thing to kind of think about. Yeah, man.
And for all my people who might not be following everything, the quarterback is 20 yards or moving 20 yards every play, and the rest of the line and team are moving about 12 and a half yards every play.
Mm-hmm.
So that just puts into perspective. But like, if that doesn't make sense, please watch it again, rewind that part, look up the words and things that you don't understand, because it's better that you understand everything going on. But speaking of quarterbacks, man, it's March Madness. I know that has nothing to do with basketball, but it's sports. So
Yeah,
I
bro.
personally,
My bracket is so busted, dog. Can't lie.
bro, bracket is fried. I mean, my women's brackets were doing a little bit better because women's is a little bit easier to predict. Usually it falls like the top seeds usually win. It's a little bit less balanced in the women's brackets. But man, Audie Crooks, for all my people who know who Audie Crooks is on Iowa State, she's a dog on offense, but defensively, we got to lock in.
So I'm looking, and this is as of Sunday, March 22nd. In the women's tournament, 185 perfect brackets remain, and 3,477,348 brackets have fallen. Oh, I'm sorry. That number actually is updated. Did I say 185 first?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So 185 brackets remain. Close to 3.5 million brackets have fallen. In the men's tournament, 0 perfect brackets remain. 26,567,887 brackets have fallen. Have we even played a Sweet 16 game yet?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So this is March Madness, bro. And some people argue it is the best like sporting event, like period, like over or I guess playoff atmosphere sporting event. Like it's better than the NBA playoffs, better than the NFL playoffs, better than the MLB playoffs. And like, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna lie, it's a valid argument. March Madness is like the number of games I've just been watching, bro, and it coming down to these buzzer beaters, like the High Point Wisconsin game, the Nebraska game from last night. I'm just like, bro, like these are real kind of crazy upsets. But what's kind of been the biggest what's been the biggest upset to you that you kind of seen so far?
Biggest upset is that we don't have a Black Box Theory podcast bracket. We're gonna have to implement that next year, men's and women.
Yeah, that actually will be. Yeah, we
the interaction with you guys. We're gonna have to do that next year. So remind us if we don't. But upset to me, man. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't like sat and watched a full game. Like I really haven't watched it, but I'm just trying to think the ones that I have seen. I'm a Carolina fan, so I kind of been tuned out. I knew that we were cooked when Buddy went down with the broken hand.
Bro, but y'all were up by like 20 at one point.
Yeah, we suck, bro. We suck. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Bulls fan and a Carolina fan, so like I don't fall for the tricks, bamboozling every year. Like every time people say, "Oh, you're gonna," no.
Yo, Florida just lost.
You serious? To who?
Yo,
who?
Florida lost to Iowa, bro.
Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa, as a 9th seed, Iowa.
And Florida was number 1, right? Or like
yeah, Florida was number 1 seed.
Shout out Iowa.
That's crazy to me, man. I ain't gonna lie, but from what I've seen, and Kansas lost today too to St. John's.
Shout out St.
Um,
John's, first time to the Sweet 16 since I believe it was 1992
but
or something like
I'm
that.
not gonna fake that Wisconsin High Point, probably the craziest upset I've seen, bro.
Cause
Uh,
High Point won, right? Yeah, High Point, Greensboro. Shout out Greensboro. Or they're not in Greensboro. They're in High Point, but
mhm.
close to Greensboro. Shout out the area.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, bro. It's only gonna get crazier. I think Kentucky also got blown out today by Iowa State. They rolling.
Who you got winning it all though, man? I'm not gonna lie. I'm sticking with Duke.
I had
Uh,
UConn
UConn. Okay.
winning everything. I think if UConn don't
Carolina
win,
fan, but I gotta say Duke.
I don't think Duke folds in Elite Eight or
They
maybe
hitting at least Final Four,
I
if
don't see
not
it.
championship game.
I don't see it because
Who you
they
think
may
they
make
lose?
I don't see them get past the Elite Eight though, in my opinion.
Who they
Um,
running into? I'm about to pull the bracket up.
they playing St. John's next. They're playing
They
St.
playing
John's
St.
next.
You think they're gonna lose to St. John's?
I don't put seeding doesn't matter to me for March Madness no more. It hasn't for a long time, but seeding.
No, I mean I'm not worried about seeding, but like you think St. John's is like finna
I think
finna
I think March Madness is any given game like type of deal. So yeah, and they just beat Kansas
okay look I'm looking at it right now, right? I'm gonna just make some predictions, right? I say
or Houston. If UConn, no, I got Houston going.
I'm
UConn.
saying Duke's gonna win. I think well Arizona they trolling. Well no, they should win that. I feel like Michigan State. I think it's gonna be Duke, Michigan State, Elite Eight. I think it's gonna be Nebraska. It might be Nebraska. I don't know. I'm gonna say Nebraska, Houston, Elite Eight. Actually got Illinois winning it all in like one of my brackets. Keep it
I
real.
like, yeah, I do like, yeah, I can see, I think Iowa State, yeah, Iowa State and Michigan.
Iowa
Well,
State, Michigan.
I see Iowa State and Michigan, and then I also see Purdue, Arkansas would be a great game.
And ever
But
since Purdue lost, didn't they lose to a 16 seed one
yeah,
year? They
yeah,
lost to UMBC. No,
yeah.
UVA lost to
No,
UMBC.
you know UVA, yeah.
Who did Purdue lose to?
They lost to somebody else. I was sorry, I forgot. But yeah, they blew as a 1 seed as well. Arkansas they're a really fun team to watch, bro. Darius Cuff is so nice to me, bro. He's it was actually like a sports bar with my boys last night. We was watching him, bro. He's literally like he's just a killer, bro. Like he reminds me of Allen Iverson so much. He a
Hey,
killer, bro.
bro, I wish I could tap in, bro. I mean, hey, for all my people out there listening, you notice how he said he was at a sports bar with his boys. These are things you want to think about when you go into your full-time employment. I don't have that option. To me, right? Sports, television, all those are social activities. Don't have the option. Interpret that how you will. Those options were stripped from me, taken away from me like Timothy Turner's Fairly Odd Parents when he lied. So, he made a wish, right? Let's just put it like Timmy Turner made a wish that his Fairly Odd Parents would be there forever, that he would be young forever. And then he got found out. He got his wish, but he got found out and they were taken from him. Trade off. I'm Timmy Turner. What are my Fairly Odd Parents?
Hey man, it's out the mud with Rashad McCants, man. We do appreciate y'all boys tuning in for sure. But hey man, you know what I'm saying? It's out the mud, baby, for sure.
But hey, we keep it going. So anyway, man, prioritize things in life, dog. But let's talk about the S&P 500 a little bit. 500 a little bit. The S&P just dropped for the fourth week straight. The Russell 2000 has entered correction territory. $5.7 trillion in options expired on Friday. And the Fed said they're not cutting rates. Here's exactly what you need to know. For those who might not be invested or might not be watching, Friday was extremely ugly. I know I opened my portfolio and it looked like it was my time of the month. The S&P fell 1.51% to 6,506. The NASDAQ dropped 2.01% to 21,648. Dow shed 444 points. Russell 2000, like I said, entered that correction territory, down 10% from its highs. This was the S&P's fourth consecutive week in a decline. All the options expiring, adding massive volatility. Volatility. Yeah, the damage underneath the index is worse. 40% of S&P 500 stocks are in individual bear markets, which means down 20+%. 97% of software stocks are below their 52-week highs. The Fed rates at 3.5 to 3.75% Wednesday, and the market now prices in zero rate cuts for 2026. Some analysts at Macquarie think the next Fed move might be a hike, not a cut. We are sizzling.
Yeah, dog. I don't know, bro. It's scary, bro. I know I said earlier, like the capital, because prices may never. Understandably, we don't know. It's one of them situations like buying the dip could be buying the high because we don't know when this dip going to stop. Like I said before, bro. Like I know it's hard to hear it and visualize it because we thinking about at the end of the day, folks got bills to pay. Folks got rent. Folks got kids to feed. Folks got at the end of the day, you have to keep a roof over your head, your back, food on the table to get it to the point where you can think about long-term investing. So I 100% understand and I empathize with those who understandably cannot make those type of deployments as far as capital goes into all of these investments right here at this moment because you got to take care of yourself today. However, portion of that, said, and you can rebalance or kind of adjust your portfolio or your allocations as needed. But I will say that a part of us have to always think about our future selves. Like everything cannot go towards today and tomorrow or next week. We have to think about ourselves 5 years from now. So like I said, I know things are bleeding right now, looking like a down year. Like I said, we have to remember it's only March. We're also in a very high stress, kind of economic state right now, globally. So understandably, like it makes sense why the market is reacting the way it is. So like I said, you just kind of gotta just keep, just stay abreast of the news, and just try to invest where you can, make the right strategy for yourself. But I hope that investors who are maybe just now breaking, and I feel for investors who may be kind of like just now breaking in for the first time this year, and they feel like, bro, I'm just losing all my money. This is a waste of time. Time in the market always beats market timing, no matter what. People that make the most money, it's not from quick trades, it's not from boom, 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 quick swing trades, quick day trades. It's for people that hold for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, consistently reinvesting their dividends and then living off of that, right? So that's kind of how you got to think. If you don't believe me, you can go ask Warren Buffett. Just like this small guy, very minimal net worth. So you can double check with him and his strategies if you don't believe, random guy on podcasts. But yeah, man, like I said, bro, just try your best to not be discouraged. Stay abreast of the news, understand what's going on everywhere, and just take control of your portfolio as proactively as possible. We gonna get through this together, man, for sure.
No, we figuring it out. Got to. I'm not blaming them, but
I am.
man, watch out for Agent 47 and not the Hitman. I'm not talking about the Hitman. Man, we gotta stay smart, stay sharp, stay up to date. And if you're in your 20s, for all my people who were born too late, I'm sorry. Your mom and dad should have had teen pregnancies. But do not panic sell, like Malcolm has said multiple times. Don't panic sell. Be a non-emotional investor. If your horizon is 20 plus years, corrections are statistically where the best buying happens. So you have to think long term. I know it's easy to get caught up looking day to day, checking your stuff day to day. Brother, you just got to hold for the long run. And if it's cooked in the long run, we're all cooked in the long run because the world relies heavily on the US dollar still, even though Agent 47, not the Hitman, is pushing countries away from that. But the US dollar is kind of backing a lot of things. But we are now making enemies out of friends. We are destroying ourselves. But if that happens, everything's cooked. So unless you have multiple passports, just keep holding on. If your entire portfolio is tech stocks and S&P indexes, you're correlated to the worst performing sectors at the moment. At a minimum, check your energy and commodity exposure. I mean, me personally, gold is absolutely tanking for me right now, but it should go back up, hopefully. I'm just going to hold on. And if you have cash sitting in high yield savings account at 4% plus, that's not a bad place to be right now, considering the S&P 500 is down about 5% on a year to date. And cash is a position. Don't let anyone shame you for holding it during a genuine uncertainty. If someone's shaming you for holding cash, I hope that person has some sort of bread, because if they don't, they probably yeah, you can figure the rest out. But I feel like most people who actually have a little bit of change to their name are not going to shame you for being intelligent. Don't just go spend 300 on Facebook Marketplace because you saw a P5 available. Don't do it. You can live.
Yeah, man. Do not make. To be honest, I don't even know what high yield savings accounts still do have a 4%
SoFi,
rate.
they
I
don't
think
have the
they.
4% anymore.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even check as often as I should. But,
Let me see.
all
I
right.
just checked. It says as of March 2026. Mind you, this is from the Google AI overview. Since I'm not allowed to do a Google search without seeing AI, best rates around 4% to 5% APY with Pi Bank, that's PIBANK, 4.6%. Varo Bank, VARO, that's 5%. And Open Bank, 4.09%. They are the top three leading the market. But the best choice is generally have no monthly fees, low minimum deposits, and FDIC insurance, maximizing earnings for savings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me personally, I try to go with stuff that makes sense. Like a lot of people, they try to chase those, like, those offers and things like that. But you got to make sure you're picking somebody, a good choice, because I mean, this is your money we're talking about here, and you want that insurance. If you go find something that says, "Hey, we got 10% APY," but they're not FDIC insured, hey, you could retire yourself early if you want to. Retire yourself early in homelessness, because that's where you might end up if you put all your money in there. Be smart.
Yeah, man. But hey, that's all I got for y'all, man. We you want to touch on anything else? You all good?
I think we covered a lot this week, man. Just I guess announcements. Man, please like, share, subscribe. Continue to interact. Let us know what y'all want, man. If y'all want us to introduce us, the show, every episode at the beginning, let us know. If you listen this long, thank you. First and foremost, we appreciate you. And we have some things on the way, man. Let us know what type of perspectives you want. Some people you might be interested hearing from. People in industries. Like, we're working on a lot, man. We're expanding, so I'm not gonna speak on it too much, but we got a lot coming for you guys. And also anybody out there who has suggestions, meaningful criticism, you want to see us partner with your favorite brand, you got some connects, let us know. And I gotta say this one. Shout out my boy Xavier Odom. If you guys don't know, look him up on IG. Tap in. He's gonna be on Netflix show next month, Temptation Island. For all my people out there who like reality TV, all them things. Look, tune in, man. Good dude. Excuse me. Also, your plug for Wild Chips. I'm cutting that out. Also your plug for Wild Chips, Chomps, Protein. Tap in. This is not a paid promotion.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out Xavier, bro. Cool dude, man. Really smart guy. Like I said, we appreciate everybody that tap in, tuning in. Yeah, like I said, we got some stuff cooking up, bro. Hopefully, you can announce soon. We still kind of work through some of the kinks and logistics. But as always, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all, anybody that's supporting us, spreading the word, sharing our content, our platform to anybody. We appreciate it the long way for sure. Pause. Yeah, OD pause. But yeah, love y'all, man. And we will catch y'all next week on the next episode of Black Box Theory Podcast. South the Mud, man. Love y'all for sure. Okay, there we go.